He stabbed me at 2:03 a.m., a screwdriver, rusted, blunt, trembling in his grip. I remember the sound before the pain, the wet, muffled thud of metal meeting flesh. My shoulder burned, then went cold. I looked at him, my stepbrother, Liam, and saw something worse than rage in his eyes: amusement. Behind him, my parents stood in the doorway, half drunk, half awake. Mom smirked. "Oh, stop being dramatic." Dad laughed, a short, cruel sound. "You probably deserved it." Blood dripped down my arm. My shirt clung to me like a dying thing. I stumbled back, phone in my hand, thumb shaking. One message, 3 words, sent to my best friend before the world blurred: "Call the police." Then darkness. When I woke up, the hospital lights were sterile and cruel. My shoulder was stitched, my body cold under thin sheets. A police officer sat by the door, scribbling notes. They said Liam told them it was an accident, that we were roughhousing. My parents confirmed it. The case was dismissed as domestic misunderstanding. I was 17. They made me feel like a liar. Even the nurse avoided eye contact when she whispered, "You're lucky it missed your artery." Lucky. That word echoed for months. Liam got sympathy. I got silence. After that night, my place in the house became invisible. No one spoke of it. No one asked how I was healing. Mom's only words were, "Don't bring this up again. You'll ruin the family." So I shut up. But I didn't forget. I watched Liam bask in the attention, his new car, his graduation party, the way my parents beamed at him like he hung the moon. They thought they'd buried it. But what they didn't realize was that I'd been paying attention. I learned his patterns, his arrogance, his addictions, his secrets. The late-night gambling, the hidden debts, the girl he'd been messaging who thought he was single. Piece by piece, I collected his sins, quietly, patiently, because revenge isn't about rage, it's about timing. Years passed. I left home at 18, moved to another city, built a life. Every scar on my body became a reminder, not of pain, but of purpose. When Liam reached out 5 years later, begging for help, I almost laughed. His messages were desperate. The gambling had caught up to him. Loan sharks, blackmail, stolen money from his employer. I didn't reply. I waited. 2 weeks later, the police arrested him for embezzlement. His trial was set for February. That's when I made my move. The night before the hearing, I submitted an anonymous file to the prosecutor's office. Bank records, screenshots, transfers from my parents' accounts to Liam's betting platforms. Evidence of cover-ups, signed under my father's name. They thought they were protecting him, but they were digging their own graves. I didn't need to lie. I just needed to reveal. Court day arrived like a storm. I sat in the back, quiet, unnoticed. Liam looked gaunt, pale, still arrogant enough to think he could charm his way out. My parents sat beside him, pretending to be victims. Then the prosecutor began reading. Every document, every transaction, every forged signature. Liam's smirk faltered. Mom's hand slipped off the bench. Dad's face drained of color. And then, my favorite part, the video footage. A file labeled 2am.mp4. The courtroom fell silent. On screen, grainy footage from an old baby monitor I'd hidden in my room years ago. It captured everything: the confrontation, the laughter, my mother's voice saying, "Stop being dramatic." You could hear my breathing, shallow, ragged. The moment the screwdriver hit, the moment I collapsed. The judge paused the video halfway through. No one spoke. Liam turned, eyes wide, searching the room. And then he saw me. I didn't smile. I just met his stare. Steady, calm, unflinching. That was the moment he realized what I'd done. The charges shifted instantly, from embezzlement to attempted murder, obstruction, fraud. My parents were implicated for perjury and tampering with evidence. The courtroom chaos was almost musical. Voices raised, lawyers panicked, cameras flashed. And I sat there, quietly watching the family that destroyed me finally destroy themselves. Liam got 12 years. My parents got 3. I got silence again, but this time it was peace. Sometimes justice doesn't roar. It whispers. It waits until the right moment to strike, clean and final. That night, as I stood outside the courthouse, the same shoulder that once bled under his screwdriver felt strangely light. I looked at the stars, at the sharp, cold sky, and thought, maybe this was what survival really looked like. Not forgiveness, not closure, just control. And in that stillness, I finally understood. When they told me to stop being dramatic, they mistook composure for weakness. But I wasn't weak. I was patient. And patience is the sharpest weapon of all.